Hello. Jesus here. Someone told me to do that. Just kidding. It's me, Cody. Figured I'd chime in with some thoughts from today. I was kind of thinking this morning, and I didn't have time to make a little video because I was running late, which is my fault because I take too long in the shower, which is where I do my thinking. And anyway, I was thinking about perspective, where the way you see your own life, the way you see your situations, just the way things affect you in general. And I think a lot of that, I know a lot of us have some pretty crappy lives. I didn't have the best life. I mean, we as a family, we did what we could. We worked hard for what we have, and we tried to make things right. But there were things that just weren't really in my parents' control that have affected me, and I keep that mostly to myself. But there were other rough times in life too. I mean, I used to sleep in my car. Not this car. If I could afford this car, I could afford a place to sleep, right? I used to have a Chevy Cavalier, a two-door, not very good for living in, and it wasn't that I didn't have options. I had options, but I just didn't have a clear head to recognize those options. And maybe a little bit too much pride involved, because I didn't want to admit that I'd failed in life. I mean, isn't that the whole point? You grow up, you get trained by your parents and your teachers, and you grow up and do better things, have a good life. And you hit this moment of embarrassment when you're barely 21 years old and sleeping in your car at night because you're afraid to admit that you screwed up. And hey, there's plenty of people way worse off than that. That's something I learned as a kid, that no matter how bad things are in life, there's always someone who has it worse than you. And that's a really grim outlook. I hate to think like that, but in a way it's comforting too. And my point that I'm so slowly getting to, as usual, is that a lot of times your outlook in life kind of defines things. And I know that's a lot of motivational speakers talk about that. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I think it's more scientific than people realize. Mainly based on the things you can see and the things you can't see. When you are drowning in despair, and I use drowning not in a literal sense, but in an emotional drowning, where everything's stacked up on you, everything's just hitting you hard and crushing you and pushing you down, you can't see much else aside from your own misery. And it's gonna sound weird when I say it this way, but over time, you kind of start to, that's all you know, and that's where you kind of enjoy your misery. I hate to say that sounds rude, but it's kind of true. And it's just like being a prisoner for too long. It's all you know, it's what you know, it's how you live, and you don't know how else to handle life, so you don't know any other way out. You're comfortable with that. And sometimes help and things seems like it's not going to work, or maybe that's too easy. But that's the problem, is when you have that pessimistic outlook at life, you'll never see a way out. Whereas if you can have a more positive outlook, you will feel better about yourself. And yeah, people say, well, you just don't care. And maybe it seems like I don't care. I actually care a lot. I care a lot about too many things, and probably too much of that. But I come off as not caring because I have that positive outlook and try not to let things get me down and try not to let things beat me up. And yeah, they do. It all caves in on us eventually. But my point is, if you can look at the positive side of life, you will find that life works out for you. I'm not saying everything falls into place, but you'll notice that things work out way better. And I know it's not easy. It's easier said than done, but if you could try just that one little thing, just try to have a better outlook, try to think of things in a different way. And unfortunately, I am home now, so I have to stop there. Turn this off before people see my house number.